Hello, how's it going? I have to mark this momentous occasion, this day. This is the day the conservative government has attempted to take over our country completely. And this is the day that the Canada I know and love, or used to love anyways, is changing for good, it seems. I hate to sound overly dramatic, but this is how it is. I know everybody always says that everything's so scary if you look at all the people like me who are, I guess, bringing to light all these things, or at least talking about them, thinking about them, change and whatnot. It's easy to be a fearmonger, it seems, but no, this is the gradual change that happens, and we're marking these periods, at least those of us who feel like talking about this relatively boring subject, but this is the political system, this is the way things change, this is how history is made. So basically, in a nutshell, the past couple years, my theory is that the conservative government has been implementing a bigger global, shall we say, secret plan, a manipulative, coercive, very deceptive, large, huge scale operation. And if you don't think about these kind of things, or if you've never been one to analyze things in the big scheme of things, or perhaps just take note of the large organizations that do control our world, then it might seem weird, but my theory is that the PSYOPs, the interactions that the media has had in Canada with these sketchy incidents has proven the plan all along. There have been a massive amount of, relative to the normal amount of things that happen in Canada, sketchy gun-related lockdowns, very new, unique to Canada, a new methodology in dealing with these things. My theory was it's essentially meant to normalize this, bring up the talk of security matters, all the things that are going to be today introduced into legislation to attempt to make legal, for whatever that means, these new powers. What the government's trying to do is to give themselves and the Five Eyes network, as it were, and the rest of the world, new powers of everything from suppression of communication. That's a theme in this, reminiscent of the Justin Bourque incident, by the way, where the police, although police officers were killed, they said that they did not communicate immediately that their officers were killed, for the only reason, I believe, that their communications might have been intercepted. That instance, I believe, was specifically meant to reinforce this narrative of communication and secure communication amongst legal authorities only, and the complete opposite amongst the civilian population. Interception of our communications, preventing communication completely. We see that in the Boston Marathon incident, for example, shutting down of cell phones, justified by stopping potential one method of maybe stopping a bomb. I mean, it's ridiculous. But, and so these themes are being cultivated and have been for some time now. Security matters. And these are clearly PSYOPs. If you look at the Ottawa shooting, I say the Quebec fake hit and run incident because I'm assuming it's fake. I haven't seen anything to the contrary. There's a little bit of blood on the ground, but if you look at that scene, I mean, it reeks of PSYOP. There's a car flipped over, a knife planted in the ground, literally, the whole thing. I mean, these are all connected. It's very clear. These are just a few of the things that I put. I mean, these are just some ideas off the top of my head that I was sort of wanting to put down to get something to reference, but it is clear. We have the Ottawa shooting, for example, the day after the Ottawa shooting, last October. Nathan Cirillo apparently shot by Michael Bideau, apparently. Our government was in lockdown. The whole government quite literally affected by this, it seems. Or it was the symbolic target was our government building, literally the head government building in Canada here. Anyways, I've talked about that, but the next day there was an incident where buildings were locked down and everything, only because of a report of a gun apparently found on a bus. Somebody called in a gun, all of a sudden it makes media. What they do is, that's a little thing here that they've done. They reinforce these ideas by bringing them up again. Like the Moncton shooting, excuse me, the huge one, Justin Fork, in June was reinforced just this week. The story of a guy walking down the street in Moncton with what apparently was a gun. That was just a report or a call by a citizen, apparently. They don't even know it was a gun. They didn't ever find the guy. Of course, the media brings up, of course, the Moncton shootings. It's the same week as this legislation, this government, this conservative, evil, goddamn Stephen Harper led government. The same week. What do you know? Oh, yeah, it's just a coincidence that they're talking about security matters when these little tiny things pop up in the media. Of course, you can say it's a natural thing, it's just a coincidence, but and if you look at the bigger picture, it's definitely not, as far as I'm concerned, my humble opinion. So, what else was I going to say? Basically, this gives this, today, what the government's trying to do, this bill, as it were, trying to pass, or talking about anyways, but officially announcing to the Canadian world here today, is going to allow the CSIS, our spy agency, our CIA or whatever, new powers. They're going to talk within governments. It's all about connecting information with each other, sharing, spying. This is Mubin Sheikh here, by the way. CSIS informant, as it were. Our Canadian, so much I want to say, or I could say, but I just get lost as usual. The Canadian spy agency is hilarious. It's basically, we don't have a spy problem here, or we don't have a terrorist problem. So essentially they're making it up. They're arresting people for things that they're going to do. That's what this legislation does as well. It has preemptive arrest built into it, essentially. People are going to be prevented from traveling who are thought to be terrorists or are thought to going to be helping terrorists. And to the communication thing, social restrictions such as freedom of expression even. They'll justify it as this is support, those who are supporting terrorism in many ways or exalting it or anything of the like is going to be seen as illegal, essentially. They're going to classify everybody, and this has been a theme for some time now with David Cameron and whatnot. They're going to classify everybody who isn't with them, who isn't completely silent and completely permissive to their system, is going to be seen as combatant. They're going to be seen as anything against them is a force that has to be dealt with. And just that preemptive thing is absolutely ridiculous. It's absurd, the direction that they're trying to follow. I mean, they're trying to just essentially suppress natural communication, natural instinct of the way cohesive society should work, where freedom of expression is a healthy thing and people are allowed to communicate with themselves, with their own channels and whatnot, but just, I guess, typical control, government control. But, I mean, this is clearly a plan. This is a war on terrorism plan that people have been talking about forever. This is all connected. Canada is just too easy. We're going down without a fight. We don't even really know what's going on, to be honest. Most people, myself included, of course, to a great deal. What do I know? By the way, this is interesting. This picture here, this is a guy. This guy was arrested, or, sorry, I think he got arrested eventually, but was found out to be an imposter at an event for the Nathan Cirillo, the corporal that was apparently shot there at the Ottawa War Memorial. Too funny. I gotta look into that, but I just thought of him there when I was doing this and stuck his head up there. But anyways, this is the end of Canada as I love it. Used to. It's over. Stephen Harper sold us out. Mark this today. no big deal, it's all good, seriously, but I had to talk about it, at least, in my form of talking anyways. So yeah.